Hey, it's Ryan here, and I thought that I would break down a few ancient principles as we move into the month of May. And there's a lot of words that are thrown around loosely in the real estate environment, things like action and attraction and results. And so I thought I'd share with you a few of the principles that I try and live my life by, albeit not perfect. But maybe it will support you in terms of your own progress and your own productivity. So let's talk about action for a second. Everybody's always talking about, you've got to take action and you have to, do certain things in order to create what you desire. This is all true. And so the other, element of different universal laws are goals, and everybody's got a goal. Well, let's hope that we have a goal. Let's hope that we have a clear and written goal, something that we've got down on paper. Putting pen to paper is one of the great processes in terms of manifestation. And so what people don't really understand is that goals are based in intention. Everybody has these great big intentions, and the universal law of intention says that we've got to direct our energy somewhere in order for something to happen. We have to direct our energy somewhere in order for something to happen. For example, if somebody wants to earn 6 figures plus in real estate, they've got to put, their mind into that and, create that goal inside of their mind and actually be able to see it. The challenge is that there's a lot of activity level that's required to achieve that kind of goal, or multiple 6 figures, or some of the people that I work with that have been, amazing, hitting a 7-figure, income in one calendar year, whether it's a team leader or a high-level individual agent or a broker owner, running a company. The challenge with intention is that we have to commit to activity level to achieve that. And that's where we look at the law of action. And so the universal law of action indicates that nothing happens unless something moves. We have to create and apply some form of movement in that activity space so that we can achieve that which we desire. The law of action works in tandem with the law of intention. So we have to align our great big intentions with a committed set of actions. And a lot of people really fall off in this space. It is just so common that people have these great, wonderful goals. They've got an intention. They know the activity level that's required to meet that goal, to, meet that intention, but they don't take the appropriate level of action in order to do so. And so this is where coaching and training and mentoring can come in, because when I work with people on a one-on-one basis, I always explore, what is somebody's goal? Do we have a clear, predictable path on what kind of activity is going to be required in order to meet that goal? And we usually look at framing it out at first, long-term vision, the long-term intention, but then we do what's called reverse engineering, where we take a look at the specific activity levels that are required in order to, achieve that goal, the specific committable amount of action that we can take in a 30-day window, breaking it down into a 1-week period, and then even once per day, what kind of activity levels required, even if it's an hour or 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. That allows us to start taking a look at whether or not somebody's aligning their actions or intentions, and whether or not we need to make specific improvements. Because if somebody gives me 30 days of committed action that are aligned with their intentions, that are working in tandem with their intentions, there's going to be 3 things that happen. 1, somebody is going to get the results that they desire. They are going to commit to more action. They are going to commit to looking at where the pain points in the process are, making sure that they don't fall off track. And we keep moving through the progress, which my process is driven by that progress. 2, somebody gives me a committed level of action that aligns with their great big intentions, but they're not getting the results that they desire. That's okay, because ultimately what we're exploring then is, where are the places and spaces that need to be improved? Maybe it's in the messaging. Maybe it's in, driving for an appointment. Maybe it's in, the amount of action that's actually required, and it's just not quite hitting that intention for the big goal. The third scenario is where somebody has a great big intention, but they just don't commit to the action that they declared as far as their own goals go. And usually that means something's getting in the way. So as part of a discovery process that I apply, we explore what is getting in the way of doing the things that somebody knows that they need to do in order to create the experience that they desire. So one of three scenarios happen. When we start looking at where can we make improvements, we can explore other universal laws. So let's talk about the mainstream and the most mainstream of all laws, which is the universal law of attraction. You've probably heard a lot, in terms of The Secret or manifestation or what we think about actually becomes. And there's a lot of relevance inside of that. What most people don't recognize is that, number one, the universal law of attraction is not the be-all and end-all of laws, okay? It is actually a secondary law to what's called the law of vibration. The universal law of vibration indicates that everything and anything, including ourselves on this planet, vibrate in terms of energy level goes, and almost like a magnet. And so if we are operating from a negative space, if we are operating from a toxic or sad or angry or frustrated space, more often than not, we're going to operate like a magnet and attract into our experience much of that same thing. On the flip side, if we are operating in a very positive energetic space, we are happy, we are feeling a reverence for life, a reverence for business, we are, really positive in nature, we tend to attract much of the same. So we need to explore what is the energy level that I am operating in, because I'm going to give you a really key indicator for real estate or any type of sales or any type of thing that you want to attract. Have you ever noticed that there are people that always seem to have a crazy real estate or business situation going on, or they always seem to have a crazy client, and they're just filled with these, wild scenarios, or clients that are just so difficult and just so challenging. But if you step back and be a witness to the situation and not a judge, oftentimes you can identify that a lot of these same people are really exhibiting some of those same traits. Maybe it is in terms of their own energy that they give off. Maybe they come off as somebody that gossips or participates in, toxic. Or maybe they have that negative tone to them all the time, where they're judging every situation outside of them rather than looking at the experience that is inside of them. And when you start to explore that law of vibration, we can then pinpoint what are the things that we know we need to do in order to operate at a higher frequency in terms of our own energy level. And so this can go back to, your daily commitments for the things that you do to serve yourself. Self-serving activity is one of the fundamental principles of the foundation that I work off of with my clients, with my family, and for myself. And is it perfect? No. But it's a key performance indicator when we begin to look at our own energy level. And so maybe self-serving activity for you is, finding certain rituals such as hydration, such as meditation, such as journaling, such as reading a non-business related book, such as, performing some form of physical activity that's going to allow you to raise your own energy level. You don't need to be a professional bodybuilder, or anything like that to do this. Gosh knows I don't. But when I'm in a higher peak state physically, I know that when I nurture the body, I certainly nurture the spirit. And it's, like many, a work in progress for me. And so what can you identify in terms of your own progress energetically that's going to allow you to increase your energy or your vibration, as the law states, that's then going to allow you to attract better things, more of what you desire. Let's take a look at that law of attraction. The law of attraction doesn't say that we become what we want. Okay, we don't attract what we want into our experience. We attract what we are. And the most foundational part of that is the energy that we hold and that we exude. And so you can't fool with this law. You cannot lie to the universe when it comes down to this. What we really, really explore is deep down in the root of all that is, in the root of all that I know, am I coming from a place of positivity, feeling that, having that feeling before I visualize it? And am I focused in on that? Because what we celebrate, what we focus on, tends to expand. So how can you wake up each and every single day and do your very, very best to raise your own personal vibration, your own energy level? And how can you try and commit to holding that space throughout the day, throughout the evening, and repeating? This is not something that we come to a destination with. We don't ever really arrive. But when we hold this principle close, I think that you will discover that it has a lot of answers and a lot of keys to such elements that you may desire, that you may want to look at exploring more of, or possibly improving more of as well. That leads me to one of the final laws that I'll talk about today, which is the law of resistance. And the law of resistance states that what we resist persists. So I'm going to break that down in terms of real estate as well. If you know that there are specific activities to improve your energy level, and specific activities in terms of the action that you need to take in order to create what it is that you want inside of real estate, if you keep resisting those, oftentimes negative energy or negative results are going to situate themselves in your experience. So let's simplify this today in terms of the law of resistance when it comes to your business goal. And let's say that's $100,000. Let's say it's two, whatever that might be for you, it's your goal. If you know that a certain amount of activity, such as cold prospecting, such as, converting online leads, such as doing a certain amount of open houses, nurturing your sphere of influence or your database, if you know that these things are required and there's a specific predictable level of activity that you can commit to in order to achieve that goal, if you are resisting those activities, and if you continue to resist those activities, what is going to situate itself in your experience? More often than not, it is the negative result that you desire, because it's a negative energy, which usually manifests in the form of a lack of business, a lack of income. And so how can you move through that resistance to do the things that you know you need to do in order to create the experience that you desire and the results that you deserve? And so when you start to look at these fundamental, basic universal laws, and there's many that you can explore and many that I will continue to explore with you, you can quickly identify the law of intention really works in tandem with the law of intention. So the activity level that you commit to must align with your income goal. The law of vibration is the most primary law that's going to help you work with the law of attraction by improving your energy level, by raising your vibration and your frequency internally that you then give off externally. You're then going to be able to attract better, bigger, and faster than ever before. If you're resisting these four laws, and you're resisting doing these things, placing a high focus on these things, more often than not, that negative energy is going to continue. It's going to create some stress and overwhelm, and it's usually going to result in a lack of business. So we need to move through the resistance. move through and take some action in order to create that which we desire. So when we explore this even a little bit further, we look at where are the places and spaces that we can go first. Number one, if you have interest in the universal laws, most of you may want to read my book, The Integrity Vow, Engaging Your Authentic Self. This is a very personal development, spiritual development based book that I wrote, complete with a workbook that focuses on my own life path, and in confidence, the life path and business path of many of the clients that I've worked with. And it applies about a dozen universal laws to each and every experience that helps you navigate and shape out your own. And it's available on Amazon, it's available on Audible, and you can order that. You can order the accompanying workbook, you can listen to it. It's a great introduction that talks about more of the experiences that we can all have in this wonderful, precarious journey we call life. If you want to go to the most basic of foundations today for understanding how to work within these laws, consider the law of vibration. How's your energy level? What are the things that you can do immediately to start raising your own energy level, raising your own vibration, taking a little bit of action, and moving towards your next best experience? I'll break down a lot more of these laws as we move along. If you enjoy some of these videos that I've been doing lately, be sure to click and subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a pile of great interviews with amazing speakers, industry colleagues, some of the greatest motivational people in the world, like Les Brown, who I was fortunate to interview, Brian Dawkins, who's an NFL Hall of Famer, 9-time Pro Bowler, and a whole bunch of great people in the real estate space as well. So click and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.